Proverbs 13, Message Bible. We've been studying this and there's 31 verses, so we're almost halfway finished. Hallelujah. Walk with the wise. This is the head. Walk with the wise. What's wise mean? Somebody that understands wisdom. That makes you wise. Intelligent children listen to their parents, except if you had mine, you don't want to do that. Foolish children, do your own thing, and that's about what I did. I had some good times. Some of this is, my mom loved me, my dad, but they didn't know how. But they did the best they could, except, for their shortcomings, which they have. The good acquire a taste for helpful conversation. Bullies push and shove their way through life. I've been around all those bullies all my life. Growing up in school, some teachers are like that. The older you get, the more contact you have with those folks. Careful words make for a careful life. Careless words, careless talk may ruin everything. And what's that? What's he talking about? Careless words are reality that we choose to create, even though you don't know it, Eddie, but you are creating the reality that you live in. It's coming from you. Your thought process, which you turn it into words, create the reality that you're living in. And you've been pre-programmed from your birth subconsciously, which runs your life 95% of the time. So don't bitch and moan about your life because you're the one who created it. First 7 years you created from the environment. After that, you created it yourself. As the experiment in quantum theory, that you can change the outcome of the experiment because of your perception of it. You can do that. When Jesus said you had what? Control.
That has been proven, yes.
Yes, and it's scientifically proven in quantum field. So that's why you've got to be careful of what you say. Careful of what you hear.
And think, yes,
and
indeed.
think.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting to that, yeah.
Oh.
There's two more principles. Your emotional process through thought. And you've got to be careful. I mean, you either receive it or you don't. And most of us receive it anyway. And guess what? It can be just something your wife says. Why do you go to sleep early, Eddie? Why? That's just what we're talking about. That's her perception. That's a negative situation that she's putting on you because you're not doing what she does. This is the nuance of the energy that's being projected. So we're getting bombarded 24/7 with negative energy. It's coming from the TV, it's coming from the commercials, it's coming from the billboards, it's coming from that person in the car behind you, on the cell phone. All women talk on cell phone as a drive. I watched it today. There wasn't one that I did not see that didn't have that cell phone stuck in her ear trying to drive.
That's true.
And you know what women do most of the time? They gossip. What did we talk about gossip last week?
Ain't no good.
It ain't no good. That's right. Because gossip's hearsay. And hearsay is basically fear-based.
But he always said, we don't gossip, so you better listen up the first time.
Yeah, I remember, I used to watch it in the flight deck on the aircraft carrier. Yeah, it was a long time ago. But yes, you're right. The guy was so lazy. This one guy said, boy, sure is a pretty girl walking down. He says, oh, I wish she was on this side. He wouldn't turn over. I remember that from you. Oh, yeah. But this is what we're talking about. We've got to be self-protective. And to do that is the lifeline love of Jesus. He will do that, but you've got to continually recharge the mitochondria. We don't need to get technical, but this is where it comes from. This is what produces through water, is electricity that runs your body. But it's got to be reproduced because you're using it all the time. How many negative dreams have you been in the last 30 days?
Couple.
Okay. Sucking energy out of you. That's your mind. See, it's that subconscious preload that you're living through it. And if it's negative, then it's sucking energy out of you. And can come from anybody. I've had dreams before with people who've been dead for 30 years, and they're in my dreams. So, I mean, you're not protected through dreams. So, this is what you have to be able to understand. This is why you have to be careful. That's why you need 8 hours of sleep. And some people more. Ron, research. You getting your 8 hours? You getting your 8 hours? Have you turned over a new leaf?
I've got my 8 hours, but last night I did.
Yeah, of course not.
I think my number's 9.
It can be 10, it can be whatever, but at least 8.
Right.
Because you're running on a deficit. You're running on a deficit today. You're on a deficit so bad it's unbelievable. You were on a deficit last week.
What about this week?
If I saw anything, I'd tell you, right? But these are the things that, we'll do because we want to be in a group. We want to be with the group. We want to be in harmony with those people that are around us, even though sometimes it's not good for you. See?
You're correct.
I know. I'm always correct. Until I'm not.
But I'm humble.
I'm not humble, no. Truth's the truth to me. There's no humility in it. Have I ever been wrong? Of course I have. But I changed. But when I'm telling you this is not wrong. This is true.
Oh, well, I got that coming from the Word.
And the good news is, being born again, we have the Holy Spirit, who is the one that leads us into all truth, to check his out. And so far, he's been right today.
Thank you, sir. Indolence wants it all and gets nothing.
What does?
Indolence.
What's that?
Yep.
Laziness?
There's two ways
Indulgence.
to look at it.
Is it indulgence?
Yeah, indulgence.
Indulgence.
I-N-D-O-L-E-N-C-E, indulgence.
That's
Or
right.
it was indulgence.
That's where I see that pretty girl, I got 3 seconds to not keep looking.
Yeah, and it's
I
yours.
didn't indulge, see?
And I said it wrong the first time, you're correct. But yeah, it's your decision. And if you did look at that pretty girl, then what happens?
Anything.
It's usually the little head's doing all the thinking.
Right.
And does that have, no, it doesn't, but you're in fantasy land then.
Right.
But we've been taught to do that our whole lives. And it wants it all and gets nothing. The energetic have something to show for their lives. Just the physicality of being energetic. Ron's energetic. He's always busy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Not always, but
Well.
a lot of the time, yeah. A good person hates false talk. Those are lies. Lies have no value, even though you're lied to every day. Every commercial that you ever watch is a lie. Because if you'll buy it, it'll make you prettier, smarter, faster, stronger. And then you'll be a part of the status quo. See, that's what they want you to do.
And here's the other thing it does, which I don't like. The reason I don't watch any of it is because it declares an emergency that I don't have.
Oh yeah, especially when you're selling pharmaceuticals, absolutely. If this will help you if you got this, and this, but you may want to be careful because it can kill you. They don't, they tell you that at the end. So yeah, that's the new ruling. They had to tell you. I watched today. I lost my train of thought on that. We'll go back to it. A good person hates false talk. A bad person allows or wallows in gibberish. What's gibberish?
Undistinguishable, of just vain words, idle words.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
full of
good.
fear.
Yeah, that's the-
Gossip is what they're talking about. Gibberish is gossip. There's no truth in it. There may be a little bit of truth, but I'm not going to spend my time trying to find it. A God-loyal life keeps you on track. How can it do that? Because if you're loyal to God, you're going to stay in what? The lifeline love of Jesus. You're going to be in the light source. You're going to be there. He's going to show you. Don't turn right, don't turn left, go straight, if you choose to do that. But it's always going to be up to your choice.
And everything.
Perception, choice, comes from you, not God. Oh, look what Jesus did. Nah, he did that 2,500 years ago. See, people get caught up that Jesus is going to do this for me. No, he's not.
Whatever you look at factually you perceive as a truth, as a truth or a truth.
It can be the truth or a truth, yes.
Most of the time, it's just, a fact, and it's not the truth, right?
See, your brain is so unbelievable. They think the quantum computer is the thing. It's not, it's your brain. They still can't copy your brain because your brain does so many transactions or computations that it goes through everything that it knows about that situation, and it does it that fast. And it goes into your subconscious, conscious, and it goes all that, and then it makes a action, decision, perception of that incident that fast, and then you choose to follow that, and that's
But
how-
generally, that choice, if you hadn't renewed your mind on something or don't know the truth,
Then
you'll
you're-
start keep thinking that way as really the truth
Yes,
for you,
yes,
right?
yes. It is based on what your five physical senses have
Right.
brought into you. That's a source, but that's not the source. It's the source is the spirit side. Because natural was created by supernatural. So let's go to the creator.
Yeah.
But then you gotta believe in creation and not evolution. So, yes, but you're right. But your brain does it so fast you don't even know it does it.
Okay.
Physically. But that's where you come up with a truth or a fact or whatever.
But then the deal where if you come up with that a truth to you, then you gotta cast it away to then come into the truth.
If you understand that, and most people don't. Yes, that's the method that you do it.
Put on.
Right. Put on. Correct. And the best way to do that is through meditation. Renew. That's why Paul said renew your mind. Over and over and over and over and over he said renew your mind. Paul was he was the number one authority on the Torah. There was nobody that knew more about the Torah than Paul. And it got him in a lot of trouble. Because Jesus said, go teach the people. And where did he go? He went to the temples and taught the Jews, and then that's what threw him in jail. He didn't listen. Because of his authority on the Torah, because he knew more than anybody else. And that's where he was putting his trust in, what he knew, not what God said. And that's what happens, and that's what happens to us.
That's why I write it in red, to make sure I remember what he said.
It's good.
He's renewing his mind. He's continually renewing his mind. And that's what you have to do. Hallelujah. A God-loyal life keeps you on track. That's being in what? In life. Yes, that's a bad person. Sin dumps the wicked in a ditch. It can happen that way. It's either going to be love or fear. And either you walk by sight or you walk by your faith into the truth. And sometimes they're going to be contradictory. Because your physical senses are telling you one thing, but the Word of God says something else. And that is the problem. Because we've been taught our whole lives to be educated by what is man's truth, not what God's truth is. And they've kicked God out of the schools. So, the more education you have, the more BS that you've been getting piled on. Even cemetery schools are not good for people. Because they don't teach you the true meaning of who you are. A pretentious, showy life is an empty life. And I know you know about this, Ed. Pretentious, showy life. You've been around those guys. A lot of attorneys are like that. A lot of people with money are like that. A plain and simple life is a full life. Now, plain and simple doesn't mean you don't have to have any money, that you're You know, I've been down so long, it looks like up to me. It's not that, that's not what he's talking about. A plain, simple life is that you know who your Creator is, you know who your God is, you know your place with your God, that you become one. It's not about, you know, being...
Trying to get to it.
Yeah, you're not an old dirty dish rag anymore. You know, you're not that person. That person's dead. So you're a child of the Most High God. You have authority. You're in the order of Melchizedek. That's who you are. But who teaches that? The rich can be sued for everything they have, but the poor are free from such threats. It's kind of a logic here. The lives of good people are brilliantly lit. Let's see, the lives of good people are brilliantly lit streets. The lives, brilliantly lit streets. That means you're not walking into something that's dark. The streets are well lit. There's no crime or nothing because of the light that's being shown in the street. And that's what he's talking about. The lives of good people. So if you're a good person, what's good mean?
Righteous.
Put God first. Yeah. The lives of the wicked are dark alleys. Arrogant know-it-alls stir up discord. See, that's why I'm not an arrogant know-it-all. I don't stir up discord. I just know a lot of stuff. But wise men and women listen to each other's counsel. Wise men and women are listening to each other's counsel. Most people aren't wise. They're carnal. They're wise in what they've been taught, but generally that's not the truth. That's why you've got to be careful. You've got to listen really carefully. For instance, I was on my way up here. I was doing stuff that I always do. My brain's always pumping out crap. And I was watching...
Pumping what?
Crap. C-R-A-P. Crap.
Pumping out crap?
Yes.
It's kind of like a sump pump, pumping it out.
Could be, depending on the sump. Yes, where it's located.
Okay.
And I was watching joggers. And men, women, old, middle-aged, young. And I was watching them. And it's been a proven fact for 30 years that jogging is bad for your joints and your heart. And back when I was a young man in my 30s and 40s, they had these guys promoting jogging, and they were in their 40s and 50s, and all of a sudden, after a while, they all died of a heart attack, and there was nothing wrong with them. They couldn't figure it out. How come so-and-so died of a heart attack? He's been jogging for, you know, because the heart is not made to run, beat that fast for that long periods of time.
How about walking?
Walking's great. We're not into that yet. I'm still talking. Thank you very much.
There you go.
But today they've gone so far as that you got to buy these kind of shoes, you got to wear these kind of socks, you got to put these kind of shorts on, you got to wear this kind of t-shirt, and a sweatband, and then you can go out and run till you die. It's basically, if you don't get all this crap and buy it from us, because we're promoting jogging so we can sell you all this crap, and these people are buying into it right and left. It's amazing what's out there. And they're jogging with their dog, and they're doing this, and it's all because of advertising, false advertising. And the truth is, you don't want to jog for very long. I mean, you can, but because the heart wears out. It can only beat so many times, and the heart's not made to be at its limit all the time, especially at those periods of time, and that's what kills you.
But we enjoyed it, didn't we, Ron?
I just bike now.
I enjoyed it. I know you do, but I don't do it at all anymore. But while I was doing it,
Yeah, long
I
distance.
fancied myself as pretty fast until I met this guy.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good.
Josh said hello.
Yeah.
I liked it, but,
That's fine, but it will tear your heart up.
well, I don't do it anymore, so.
I know, you couldn't anyway, you're too old.
Yeah.
But it's not, you know, cheetahs are the fastest animal God ever made that we know of on the earth. They can run 70 miles an hour, up to 70 miles an hour. But if you'll notice, they don't run very long.
They're quick.
You're quick, yeah. That's the same way that he made us. We're not made to have our heart at optimal beats, 120 times a minute for very long. Because if you don't, you wear your heart out, and then the heart dies.
Don't want
Not saying don't jog, just don't do it for long periods of time.
Short spurts like a
I'll
cheetah.
tell you you know what rebounding is? Like on a little trampoline?
Yeah,
That's what Pam's into.
Mhm.
that's fine.
Does the 3 tests, it doesn't hurt your joints at all,
Not because it's given.
right?
Because when you pound your joints on the pavement or the dirt, cross country, there's no give. You've got to do the giving.
Yeah.
And that wears your joints. They're not made to do that. That's what I'm talking about. Easy come, easy go, but steady diligence pays off. If you do it the right way, it's not about your strength. It's about the strength that you receive from God. You're in harmony with Him. You should always be in harmony with God. You should never be out of disharmony. Am I ever down in disharmony? Sure I am. I do it more than I like because I want to do it my way sometimes, and it's not the right way. Unrelenting disappointment leaves you heartsick, but a sudden good break can turn life around. Hello, Dinar.
That would be a turnaround.
Oh, yeah, it's already turned around, but it's good to feel it.
It's still gonna qualify. It still qualifies as a suddenly.
Yeah, it is, and that's the natural flesh. See, we're still, even though you don't give a crap about the manifestation, but we'll enjoy the celebration of the manifestation when it hits. It shouldn't be that way, but it is, because we're human. We want our condition to change. Well, it's already changed, but I don't see it, so how can it change if I don't see it? It got nothing to do with what you're seeing. See, then you're going back, putting the whole situation back into a physical realm. And you can't do that.
You gotta be celebrating now.
Kind of like my wedding night.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you saved yourself your whole life for that wedding night, right? I know better, I'm just being facetious. But that's what we're talking about. But see, the flesh got a hold of you, and you went the flesh way because that's the way everybody else did it. And you want to be not outside the circle, you want to be inside the circle. Because outside the circle is really lonely. I can tell you that by first hand knowledge. Outside the circle is very lonely. Because people don't want to.
We discussed this last week. We know what Lloyd's Indian name would be. He who rides alone.
Lonesome Lloyd.
That's even better.
I do like being by myself. Ignore the word and suffer. Well, that's can't get any better than that. Ignore the word and suffer. Honor God's commands and grow rich. If you're in harmony with God all the time, you've got riches. Mentally, physically, socially, financially, and spiritually. And that's the only places you can have it in this realm, this reality. And spiritually is the last one because you've always had it, but if you ignore, you'll suffer. The teaching of the wise is a fountain of life. Fountain, that means nourishment, water. You're not dehydrated. Most people in this world are dehydrated. You guys are dehydrated. You don't drink enough water. But that's your choice. So no more drinking from death-tainted wells. That's pop, sodas, sweet iced tea, anything.
Sweet iced tea is.
Yeah, it's crap. Coming from a restaurant, they don't have filtered water. You're drinking chlorine and sodium and all kinds of stuff in it. If you knew what was in your tea, you do a TD, total dissolved salt, TDS meter, put it in there, it'd show you the crap that's in it, it'd blow you away. You wouldn't do it, or you might. Who knows? Sound thinking makes for a glorious living, but liars walk a rough road. Why do liars walk a rough road? Because they gotta continually patch up that lie, because they do. They have to keep it going. And to do that, you gotta tell a lie to cover up a lie that covers up a lie, and then you gotta remember what the lie you told so you can keep covering it up. And eventually, guess what? You can't. A common sense person lives good sense. Fools litter the country with silliness. Irresponsible talk makes a real mess out of things, but a reliable reporter is a healing presence. If you get somebody that understands God and talks to you what you really have in him, and talk about love, not about the devil, because the devil, it's another thing I don't like over there. Early in the morning, screaming at the devil. You gotta get the devil out of this meeting place. That's stupid. That's insane. That's a waste of breath. Let's see, that still pisses me off all these years ago. Refuse discipline and end up homeless. Embrace correction and live an honored life. That correction means what?
Well, it's wisdom.
Jesus loves you like he did. God loves you just like he did Jesus. There's no difference. You're a son of God. That's what it's talking about. And most people don't believe that. But they believe that they're not worthy. They're not honorable. They're just an old sinner saved by grace. No, you're not an old sinner saved. You can't be. You're either a child of God or you're not.
Correct.
You cannot have any sin in you. It's not a covering. It's destroyed. Excuse me. Souls who follow their hearts thrive. Fools bent on evil despise matters of soul. So they're fools bent on evil despise matters of soul. Why? Because the unrepentant soul, not heart, is enmity against the heart.
Fools.
And it doesn't mean to go up a bunch of stairs and cut glass and whip yourself in the back and say sorry so-and-so. That's not what it's talking about. Repentant means what?
Turning the other way.
That's right. God's way is better than my natural way, so I turn my back on it, I leave it alone. That's what repent means. It has nothing to do with physical action.
A fool is somebody who still has the power of sin over them,
Yes,
instead of being dead to sin and dead to the world.
yes. They're not following God. They're not putting him first. They're not in the life, light, and love of God. They're doing it their way. And that's what the ego does.
Foolish.
Yes, it's foolish, but people will fight you because of that.
They sure will.
Look at all the Arabs out there. They're foolish. They don't believe in God. That kind of God. They need somebody that they can worship 3 times a day and get on a mat and go to Mecca and all that other crap. And that's not earning them anything, but they think it is. So, but that's foolishness. There it is, right there. Foolishness. Stupidity. That's why they'll never win. They can't. They're built on foolishness.
Oh, this is a good one. This next one here.
Become wise by walking with the wise. Hang out with fools and you'll watch your life fall to pieces.
That is why I come here. Now, in the Amplified it says, he who walks with wise men will be wise. Here we are.
You have to.
We're walking with you guys.
Yeah.
Because you're like-minded. Not everybody that comes in this place, I'm going to hate to tell you this, they're not like-minded.
Yeah, that's true too.
So, doesn't mean we don't love them and we treat them as equal. But their stupidity will drive them back here or destroy them.
Well, the good news is that there are still candidates for
Yes,
lapping up the truth.
yeah. As long as it doesn't get in their way right now. Disaster entraps sinners, but God, loyal people get a good life. Because they're putting God first. If you put Jesus first, God first in your life, you can't go wrong. I'm sorry, there's nothing that's going to happen to you that's it's gonna be anything.
Oh, I love this
You
next
wanna
one
go
too.
home? Or you wanna suffer through? Okay.
You can jog around the tech of death.
Yeah.
Till your heart gets too fast. Let's see, disaster entraps sinners, but a God-loyal people give a good life. Get a good life, make a good life, have a good life. It's up to you, man. You get to choose what kind of life you have. A good life gets passed on to the grandchildren. This is just for you guys.
Isn't that good?
Yes. Ill-gotten wealth ends up with good people.
Generational wealth.
Yes, it is out there. Bank forecloses on the farm of the poor, or else the poor lose their shirts to crooked lawyers. I'll get that up. Hallelujah. A refusal to correct is a refusal to love. Love your children by disciplining them. It doesn't mean beat them in the head with a brick. It's saying show them the right way, and that's show them God's way. You know, spend time with them, read the Bible with them. There's a lot of programs out there now. My daughter, I'd say, she teaches her kids that Jesus is Lord, He's first place. And I think Riley's 11 and Sam's 7 and Zoe's going to be 4. So, I mean, they know that. Even at that early age, they understand. They've got a relationship with Jesus because this world is so full of chaos and crap and fear. School systems, I mean, their neighborhoods, it's awful. And it's really hard. I'm glad I'm not growing up in this day and age.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point. It was a bunch easier for us.
Yes. Plus, I was on a dirt road, dead-end dirt road, and for our recreation, we went down to the creek early in the morning because my mother liked to sleep all day. So, yes. My sister and I, we went down to the creek, and we played on old tires and, you know, put ropes up, and that's what we did when we were young. Used to hunt pop bottles. We lived a quarter of a mile from the grocery store, and we'd make that trip, and we'd collect pop bottles, because back then everything was glass. And Eureka, you found a glass milk bottle,
You sell it
half
down?
a gallon, it was worth a quarter.
Really?
Eureka.
Yeah, and Coke bottles were worth 3 cents.
You know what Eureka means?
Vacuum.
Oh, that's gold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, vacuum cleaner.
Eureka. Yeah, it's an explanation of celebration. It's Eureka, it's a word that celebrates.
Thought it had to do with lightning.
Lightning.
You could, yeah, well, you're celebrating the lightning, I mean, it's,
We found
yeah,
it. Eureka, we found it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's,
I remember one time I was in my house and somehow I just said Eureka and all of a sudden, boom, whoa, bolt of lightning hit the tree.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it just right after I said it. And I don't know why I said it.
because your subconscious.
Well, I can see why you think it's lightning then.
Your subconscious said it, and your conscious caught up with it. That's why you didn't know it.
Well, the subconscious knew it was getting ready to, I mean,
Yes,
it happened.
it knew, yeah, you can read the energy.
And all of a sudden I said it and man, it hit exactly right after it came out of my mouth.
Oh, gracious.
Yeah, it's probably you doing it. May not be, but it probably was. You know, electricity doesn't always just come down, it also
Yeah, it
comes from
comes
the
up.
earth. Negatively charged comes up front, positive charge comes down. And that's why you see so much lightning. It's the earth rebooting itself.
That's the picture I have of Jesus in the grave, getting raised from the dead. His faith comes up like this and falls, it comes together.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Like it.
The YMCA camp up where Billy Graham's from, Black Mountain, North Carolina. When the guy was looking for a place to build the YMCA camp, he came up on this hillside looking out over the valley of that valley he lives in. And he said, Eureka, we found it.
Yeah.
That's where they built the building.
Huh. We found it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a celebration.
Unfortunately, lightning didn't strike.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There was a TV show too, called Eureka a long time ago.
Used to be a vacuum cleaner named it.
Still is. Yeah. It was one of the best you could buy. It's what my mother-in-law, her mother, bought us when we first got married. $1,000 vacuum cleaner. And we lived in a 10-cent house. But we had $1,000 vacuum cleaner. An appetite for good things brings much satisfaction. But the belly of the wicked always wants more. Nothing wrong about wanting good things. The only difference is you don't want them because they're already yours in the spirit. That's why we need to live in the spirit and not the flesh all the time, because we're subject to what the flesh wants. And that's not always good. Also, it has nothing to do with how many people you live to the Lord to get a blessing in heaven. It doesn't work that way. There's nothing wrong with it. I've done it before. But it's not your life's calling to go out and get somebody born again. It's not even the number one thing in Jesus. What is the number one thing in Jesus?
Just praise and worship God.
Yeah, put Him first. It's always going to put Him first. Because Jesus never led anybody to the Lord. He never baptized anybody. He let His disciples do that. His purpose was to destroy the law, complete the law, not destroy it. So,
Destroy the works of the devil.
no, that had nothing to do with His works of man. The Sadducees and Pharisees were the ones that put the 6,600 epistles into the commandments. There was only 10. Came from God. Yeah. That's the only commandments there is. All the rest of it was man-made. Of course, you don't learn that in Bible school or Sunday school or hooba-dooba school, but that's the truth. That's why they're so ardent in taking the 10 Commandments out of the properties that the state own and operate. Which they've done in Georgia. Now they're coming after the statues of Civil War vets and stuff like that. There's one place I know that they wouldn't let them.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Said, we're keeping them, go away. They ain't listening to them. I'm sure Texas is probably some like that, but Texas is so big, there's different counties there. There's some that liberal and some, but most of them aren't. I hope. So that was the last chapter or verse in this chapter 13. So what's that tell you guys? It's the same theme over and over and over and over again. Put Jesus first.
With the Great Commission, out of Matthew, it said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind.
Put Him first.
This is the first and greatest commandment.
Yes.
Second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself.
Right. And there's only 10 of them. And God gave them to Moses. God gave the commandments to Moses. There wasn't any middleman in there. And that's what pissed Moses off so bad, because nobody listened to him. Excuse me. And nobody's teaching that today that I know of. I'm not in contact with everybody, so maybe there are. I don't know anybody that does. But if you want to stay in harmony and stay out of disharmony, chaos, physically and mentally and socially and financially and spiritually, keep God first. Look for Him for the truth.
So how do you do that?
You get into the Bible, you start meditating, and you read a chapter and you meditate on it, and you let God teach you, one chapter at a time.
You think with him, moment by moment, second by second. Involve him in co-laboring thinking.
And I've been doing that for 30 plus years. Sometime I didn't even know I was doing it, but and meditation is the key. Because your conscious and subconscious mind don't get into your meditation. But your spirit and you and your soul. And you can reprogram your subconscious by doing that. That way you can rely 95% on the retooling of the subconscious mind. And it won't be because you saw your father do it when you were 3 years old or whatever. The zealot priest back in ancient times said, if you give us your son for 7 years, we'll give you a preacher back. Well, that's not the exact words, but that's what they're saying. They can pre-program that child from delta to theta to alpha to beta. And that's the regions of your soul, your mind that you can go into. That's where meditation is. And they'll do that, and they'll train the kid. And the kid doesn't know any better because he's on 95% of subconscious anyway. So yes, and they knew that. Back then, this is back in Jesus before he was born. But it's been here forever. And all these hypnosis people, they can hypnotize you and get you to. The psychiatrists and psychologists, it's all BS. That's crap. So don't fall for that. I mean, that's just a waste. It's man trying to supplement man for God. So if they want you to go see a psychiatrist, say, I ain't going to. No. But, they pop up everywhere. But look at the trends. I told Brian this the other day. I said, if you want to become a billionaire, fix the problem in whatever business that you become a partner in or access to, because there's always a bottleneck in a business. And if you can repair that bottleneck, in the military, it doesn't matter. It's there, and you can do it because you've got the creator on your side. And if you can fix that bottleneck, generally it's get rid of the middleman. It can be in transportation, it can be in cost, it can be in selling the product, making the product, warehousing. It can be in any of those places, but recognize where the bottleneck's at and fix it. Show them a new way of doing it. And if you do that, they'll reward you handsomely. But you got to do it on a larger than just peanut, company, because the people that have that company, they ain't gonna listen to it.
There's the, right there.
There's the crux in the matter.
They were there to listen to all the people that have been to have all the degrees.
Yeah. Well, I know better because I've been in this for 35 years. Because you've been doing it wrong for 35 years makes you an expert, right? No. But yeah. I fixed a deal for a guy one time when I was like 32 years old. Fixed it, he was doing great, and you know what he did for me? He fired me. Ego wouldn't let him.
He did that out of fear.
Yes. See?
Because he knew at that moment that you knew more than he did.
I know more than most everybody on not everything in the world, but the stuff that I like, yes.
And here's what I believe about the dinar. Don't agree or don't agree with this. It is not gone yet because the people who could let it go are afraid to let it go.
Yes.
And as soon as they are afraid to not let it go, that's when it'll go.
And if more people believe to let it go that don't want to let it go, the majority wants to let it go, it'll go too.
Right.
It
That's
has.
a good point. Yeah, that's back to the old Nimrod
Yes.
logic days,
Yes.
so to speak.
Yeah. He was hunter of men.
Yeah.
He had to build his foundation of truth in evilness, whatever.
And I say that because I think the people who are in charge are probably not born again.
No,
They're not of us.
No. People, and most people in Washington aren't.
That's
Yes, they're
a
evil.
well-said statement right there also.
Yeah, they're evil. Yeah, they're evil. Their God is themselves. And the more money you've got, the bigger God you are. So, it's stupid, but that's the truth. I mean, that's just the way it works. But it's our purpose on earth when people want it, they'll ask you, and then you show them the way.
Well, and
It's
the
gotta
way,
point to Jesus.
the way that we would show them, they probably wouldn't receive it or believe it. Because what we would show them is, we'd say, look, how can you be assured of being in Las Vegas, underneath the window that Ron was near, and have an idiot start shooting at you, and you could calmly walk out of there and never be hit? And they would not listen to you.
Of course not. It's not logical.
But yet, that takes power to have that protection.
Yes, it's guaranteed. By whom?
We have it.
Who backs that power? God,
Absolutely.
who is the creator of everything. But you gotta believe that.
It's true.
And your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was not a rock. I'm
Adam.
sorry.
My great, with many greats.
Yeah, but a lot of people out there believe that, you know, it was a happen of a rainstorm, hit a rock, and the minerals from the rock went into the pool, and then electricity hit the pool and started an amoeba, and that's what you get. That's what it's taught in school.
What amazes me is that anybody with a heart that beats could actually believe that.
Well,
That amazes me.
it's because they've been told that over and over, they've been programmed. That's why my father and I got in an argument. He said, well, I said, I don't believe in that. I said, I believe in creation. Well, okay, then how about the aliens that came down and created us? I said, well, then who created the aliens? And that just pissed him, he just exploded, boom, you know. You can't get it, somebody pulled the switch. Somebody pushed the button to make all this happen.
I think what made him mad, Lloyd, is that he doesn't have a love of the truth. Because if he did, he might, ooh, I wonder if that's true, what Lloyd's saying. You know?
No, he's he's got a PhD in something and 2 PhDs. I mean, he's in the world system. He's got he's a 33-degree Mason, which is total bullshit. But anyway,
Gosh.
and I come in and blow him all away. This was, well, who made that? See, it's illogical. It doesn't work that way. That's even in the nature. It doesn't work that way. Look, we're built on water, electromagnetic energy, and sunlight. That's what makes us biologically, not spiritually. I'm talking about our body, our physical aspect. That's what generates us. We generate off of photon energy, which comes from the sun. It goes into the ground, the plants grow from it, right? Photosynthesis, the cows eat the grass, we eat the cows, it comes from the sun.
I love eating cows.
I do too. But this is what it's about. It's always going to come back down. And people in America and around the world don't drink enough water, period.
Are you advancing towards the door?